Welcome back to part 2 in percents. Today we're going to talk about another very simple thing. Without getting complicating, we're going to handle one type of problem. It's your basic what is blank percent of some number. So what that'll look like is what is 20% of some number, let's say 60. Good idea first is to understand a little bit about the terms is and of and what to. So is in math you could rewrite as equals. Of you can rewrite as multiply, which I actually prefer the dot symbol myself because it doesn't get confused with variables later in algebra. And what, which represents that variable I was just saying, and exactly why you want to use the dot for multiplication. Might as well get used to it. What, x, or if you're not ready to write it as x, just keep it as a question mark. So that's a little bit about the mathematical terminology and the word problems. So up here is really is equals, and of is multiply, and what is question mark. So now we're going to use what we know now to vary this form into something we can work with. First, the first step is to convert your percent to a fraction or a decimal. 20% would then be 20 parts of 100, or 0.20. So I prefer to use this representation here in order to solve the problems, even though if you have a calculator handy, this way is quite easy, or if you like to multiply with decimals, it's all up to you. But I'll use this one. First thing I'm going to do is just reduce this term a little bit before I go and use it in my problem. So 20 out of 100, if I divide everything by 5, we'll say, or actually I could just divide by 20. So we end up getting 1 over 5, 1/5. So this is the number I'm going to use as my, in place of my percent slot in our problem. So 1/5, 20% of multiply of 60, which I'll write just like this since we're going to be multiplying fractions. 60 over 1 is the same thing as 60, is what? So what is 20% of 60? This is your of is what? Your percent and your number. Now always be in this format. If the problem's in this format, you can just set it up the same way every time. This reduces to 60 over 5, or 12. 12 is 20% of 60. Do one more. Okay. Let's say what is 30% of 90? Well, this is really, we'll just think a little bit about this. This is of, multiplies, is, equals, and question mark here. This, we need to first take this and convert it to fractions or decimals. We get 30 over 100, or 0.30. If we use the 30 over 100 version, we want to reduce it, so it would be 3/10. We divide each part by 10. So 30 divided by 10 is 3, and 100 divided by 10 is 10, so 3/10. So it becomes what is 30% of 90? Well, This is really 90 over 1. And 90 divided by 10 is, leaves 1 there, and a 9 here. 9 times 3 is 27. So 27 is 30% of 90. Well, see you later. Do 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 do.